Hi guys, Robbie46 here, and welcome to the race results and analysis for yesterday's MotoGP race at Mugello. It was Andrea Iannone on the factory Ducati who was on pole, claiming his first ever pole in the MotoGP class, followed by Jorge Lorenzo. Valentino Rossi qualified in 8th, and Marc Marquez didn't have a really good time on Saturday as he didn't even get through to Q2 and qualified in 13th on the 5th row. But off the line, it looked like Iannone had a jump start, but apparently he didn't. So he got a really good start. Lorenzo got a decent start as well, as did Dovizioso and Pedrosa. Valentino Rossi didn't have a very good start and ended up going back into 10th from 8th on the grid, but it was Marc Marquez who made the best start of everyone, going from 13th to 6th, having a massive outbraking manoeuvre on pretty much everyone into the first corner. So he was on the move, he was riding angry, wasn't happy with Saturday, and not actually happy at all with the way his Honda was working all weekend. But at the front, it was Jorge Lorenzo, followed soon by Dovizioso, who did get past Iannone, and Marc Marquez made his way quite swiftly into 4th place. Valentino Rossi made up 1 place up into 9th, but stayed there for quite a while. But with just after 2 laps, Alex De Angelis had to pull into the pits on his ART machine. Jack Miller, another crash for Miller, not doing a hell of a lot of learning in the gravel, but yeah, he's starting to crash more than he's finishing. And Alicia Spargo was really unlucky as he got completely taken out by Danilo Petrucci on the Pramac Racing Ducati, as he just completely outbraked himself and collided with Alicia Spargo on the Suzuki, so his race was over pretty soon. And then a lap later we lost both Nicky Hayden and Stefan Bradl at the same corner. But at the front, Marquez decided to make his way past both Ducatis and did get up to Lorenzo. We were all thinking maybe we were going to have the same battle we had last year when Marquez and Lorenzo were battling the whole race, which Marquez went on to take the victory. But it wasn't to be. Danny Pedrosa was making good progress as well, up into 5th. Showing pretty good pace considering the circumstances and the injury an operation that he's come off of. Andrea Iannone, he started the weekend finding out that he had a fracture in his elbow from his Mugello test crash that he suffered a few weeks ago. Still having some shoulder pain, but yeah, a fractured elbow, not good, but he braved through it and carried on racing. Dovizioso started to go backwards a little bit as Iannone got past him. And then both Ducatis got past Marquez as he looked like he was starting to have a few issues, especially getting into the first corner, as pretty much every lap he was going wide into the first corner coming off the start-finish straight. Rossi, meanwhile, was making his way through the pack and eventually got to the front of the second pack and trying to hunt down the 2 Ducatis, Marquez and Lorenzo. So Rossi did get in front of 2 Tech 3 bikes and Cal Crutchlow, and then once he got in front of Crutchlow he started to make his way forward, and because the 2 factory Ducatis and the 2 factory Hondas kept messing each other up, again going into the first corner. If one went wide, pretty much the rest of them followed. It was quite entertaining to watch, but that did mean that Jorge Lorenzo did manage to escape, and Rossi started to close the gap hand over fist, and eventually caught up to the back of him. Dovizioso, after quite a few laps battling with his teammate and the two factory Hondas, started to slip back, went back behind Danny Pedrosa, and then not long after that, Rossi caught and passed him really easily, and Dovizioso started going backwards again, and Rossi managed to get to the pack onto the back of Danny Pedrosa. It took a little while to get past Pedrosa, but eventually did. And then it was whether he could bridge a gap, because when he's battling with Pedrosa, a little gap formed from Iannone and Marquez. But with 10 laps to go, Dovizioso put his hand up as he had a clear problem with his Ducati and pulled into the pit. And then, as it turned out, it was a rear sprocket problem that he had. And Rossi, trying to get up to Marquez and Iannone, was closing Marquez down a little bit, but Marquez was having a good battle with Iannone. And as we've seen in the past, Marquez has pretty much always come up on top with Iannone. But it wasn't to be this time, because with 6 laps to go, Marquez was behind Iannone, and at the first part of the lap, Marquez tucked the front of his Honda and tried his best to keep it from crashing, but he did eventually slide out. He did save it for quite a bit, but in the end it was just too much, and he lost the front, and down he went. Didn't get the bike going again, so couldn't restart. So Marquez was down, second DNF of the season, which meant that Rossi was now in third, looking like he was going to hunt down Iannone, but just didn't quite have the pace to catch Iannone. So 3 laps to go, and it was disaster for Cal Crutchlow, who then had the same problem as Marquez and lost the front to his Honda, and had quite a big crash, which later revealed that he dislocated his ankle. Scott Reddin a bit further down the order, he was having troubles with his Honda again. But over the line, it was Jorge Lorenzo who took his 3rd consecutive win, followed by Andrea Iannone on the factory Ducati, claiming his 2nd place, and Valentino Rossi in 3rd. Danny Pedrosa, good ride to 4th, with Bradley Smith, another good ride for him in 5th. His teammate Paul Espargaro, who has now got a factory chassis, which Bradley Smith doesn't. So good to see Bradley in front of Pole. Maverick Vinales, really good race from him in 7th, the sole surviving Suzuki. Michele Pirro, wild carding on the factory Ducati in 8th. Danilo Petrucci was 9th with his teammate Yoni Hernandez in 10th. Scott Reddin eventually finished in 11th. And top open class bike was Loris Baz, a really good ride from him on the Athena Ford Racing Yamaha. Followed by Hector Barbera. Alvaro Bautista, another point scoring position in 14th. Eugene Laverty, another point scoring position for him, claiming the last point in 15th. With Mike DiMeglio in 16th. Cal Abraham, who did have a jump start, so therefore had a ride through penalty. And Marco Melandri bringing up the rear yet again in 18th. So all in all, we had a really good race, a good comeback from Rossi, a brilliant race for Lorenzo, another good race for Andrea Iannone, claiming another podium. So yeah, the really good race from Mugello. The points now is still Rossi in the lead, but now only by 6 points from Jorge Lorenzo. And Marc Marquez is now down in 5th place in the championship with only 69 points. So not looking good for Marquez at the moment. Things aren't all going his own way. I know that they are struggling with a Honda, as are the other teams, including Crutchlow and Reddin. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a like, subscribe to my channel. I shall see you guys in the next video. See you.